Okay, we're now live on YouTube. Today is July 25th. This is the 8:30 calendar for preliminary hearings. My name is Brad Gardner. I'm going to be presiding over these proceedings. This is going to be the case of State of Georgia versus D'Angelo Jarrell Barlow. Mr. Barlow is charged in warrant number 2022 WA 09920 with committing the offense of theft by taking of a motor vehicle. He's also charged in warrant number 2022 WA 09921 with committing the offense of aggravated assault. He's charged in warrant number 2022 WA 09922 with committing the offense of open container violation. And finally, he's charged in warrant number 2022 WA 09923. Do we have Mr. Barlow in front of the camera, please? Thank you. Mr. Barlow is present. He's represented by attorney Rhonda Hill. The state is represented by attorney Cheryl Freeman. Ms. Freeman, would you please swear in your witness and present your case?
Thank you. Officer Milligan, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the defendant? You can place your hand down. I'm just swearing in, officer. Thank you. Also, in jail, you can place yourself on mute. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of State of Georgia versus D'Angelo Barlow will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I swear.
Thank you. Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Officer Milligan. First name is Micah, Clayton County Police Department Uniform Patrol.
How long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
Approximately 2 years.
Were you working with the Clayton County Police Department on June 20th of 2022?
Correct.
On that particular day, did you respond to 7297 Terra Boulevard?
Correct.
Why did you respond to that address?
It was a report of a stolen vehicle.
When you arrived at that location, who did you speak with?
I spoke with the victim as well as the store clerk, and it was determined that not only was her vehicle taken, but she was dragged a good distance across the parking lot during the incident.
Speak to Malika Tucker. Was that
Yes.
the victim's name? Okay.
Yes.
Just so we're clear, this location is a gas station?
Correct.
What did Ms. Tucker tell you that happened?
I know Officer Narvaez was the primary reporting officer for the initial portion of the incident, which is what we're speaking to, but I was there. She did tell me that she was getting gas. She left her vehicle to go inside. When she was returning to her vehicle, she noticed two gentlemen get in her vehicle and they attempted to drive off. She held onto the vehicle, which is what resulted in her being dragged across the parking lot.
Were you able to see any injuries to Ms. Tucker?
Yes, she had multiple injuries. If I'm not mistaken, it was her elbows and legs, primarily her knees.
Can you, I guess, be more specific and tell us what you actually saw regarding her elbows and knees?
I'm sorry, abrasions, lacerations.
You stated earlier that you mentioned the store clerk. Did the store clerk give a statement about what he or she saw?
I don't believe they saw anything, but we made contact with them in order to obtain surveillance footage from their camera system.
Did you in fact obtain surveillance footage from their camera?
Yes.
Did you review that surveillance footage?
I did.
Please tell us what you saw on that video.
essentially what I just described. So you see two males walking around the gas pump next to her vehicle. Both males enter the vehicle. You see her exit the store, approach the vehicle. They drive off with the vehicle with her hanging off the side.
Were you able to determine who the driver of the vehicle was?
We couldn't get a positive ID just based off of the physical description alone, but you could see that it was a black male that got into the driver's seat and either a white or Hispanic male that got into the passenger seat, and clothing descriptions were provided in the initial report by Officer Narvaez.
How did you come to ask for warrants regarding Mr. Barlow?
I primarily work night shift. I was working over during the initial incident. So that night when I returned back to my own shift, I got a notification via the flock system, which are cameras that are posted around, notify for stolen vehicles and such. So when I got that notification and recognized the tag and vehicle description from the earlier incident, I notified other units that were on shift with me, which prompted a search of the area. My sergeant ended up observing the vehicle, Mr. Barlow driving. They conducted a traffic stop. And upon my arrival, he was already in custody.
Was he the only one in the car at that time?
At the time, yes, that's correct.
Has the vehicle been returned to the victim in the case?
I tried to contact myself once we recovered the vehicle. I was not successful in establishing contact with her, so I can't speak to whether or not it's been returned to her. I do know that it was a rental vehicle, though.
Did the victim, Ms. Tucker, receive any kind of medical treatment on the scene?
She did. Clayton County EMS did respond and addressed her injuries.
When Mr. Barlow was finally stopped, was there anything located in the vehicle?
There was a open container of I believe it was a 25-ounce Natty Daddy.
Now, Mr. Milligan, please tell us, what is a Natty Daddy?
It's an alcoholic beverage.
Did Mr. Barlow have his license?
No.
Did you run a criminal check to see if he had a license?
Checked his information through GCIC, which returned with a suspended status. I'm sorry, I can't speak. A suspended status and multiple suspensions in place, I believe dating back to 2003, if I'm not mistaken.
Did the victim, Ms. Tucker, state whether or not she knew Mr. Barlow?
No, she didn't.
Did she, just so we're clear, she did not know him?
She did not state that she did, but based off of the incident, I wouldn't be under the presumption that she would.
Did all of this happen in Clayton County?
That's correct.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Hill?
Thank you. Officer Milligan, so you stated that this all took place at a Chevron station and Ms. Tucker had went inside the store.
I believe it was an Exxon.
Exxon, okay. It was an Exxon station and she had went inside the store. And I'm just trying to get clarification on the timing of incidents here. So when she came out the store, were they already in the car, or were they getting in the car as she came out the store?
If I'm not mistaken, they were already in the car. There was seconds in between her coming out of the store and them getting in the car.
Okay. And you said that she was drugged across the parking lot. What was she hanging onto?
The vehicle.
What part of the vehicle?
I would imagine either the door or the door frame or the window frame.
Okay.
So Detective Milligan, if you don't know, that's fine, but please don't, when you say you imagine, don't add in details that you are not aware of, okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So could you see whether or not the car was already moving when she tried to grab whatever part of the car she grabbed?
I don't recall.
Okay. So did it appear that they were driving the car towards her in any way? That would not be possible.
She was not in front of the vehicle. She was not in front of the vehicle.
Okay. Do you know whether or not they were driving the vehicle towards any object that might purposely strike her or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. So her injuries that were sustained were a result, and this is a question, were a result of her holding on to a moving car? Can you hear me, Officer Milligan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. So at what point did she let go of the car? Do you know? Was she in the street? Was she still in the parking lot?
I don't know. So based off of the security camera footage, you see the car drive off. A couple seconds later, you see her walk back into the frame.
Okay. All right. No further, and wait, one more question. You said there was no audio, is that correct?
There was no audio, no.
Okay. No further questions.
Any redirect, Ms. Freeman?
No, Your Honor, the state rests. I don't believe I need Officer Narvaez.
Okay, let me bring him back and I can release both of them, and of course they can stay if they want. Officer Narvaez, Attorney Freeman decided that she did not need your testimony, so you can be excused or you can stay. It's your choice, and that applies to you also, Officer Milligan. You can be excused or you can stay, depending on your preference. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Hill, do you intend to call any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So the defense rests, state rests, and I'm assuming state's going to waive opening.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Hill, let me hear your argument.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, today I'm asking that you dismiss the charge for aggravated assault. The state has a burden of showing facts giving rise to every element of aggravated assault. And apparently, based on the testimony here, there is no evidence that Mr. Barlow or his co-defendant, whoever was driving, was attempting to injure or harm Mrs. Tucker with the vehicle. She, of her own volition, grabbed on to a moving car and sustained her own injuries when it was apparently not safe. It's just not safe for anyone to grab onto a moving car while it's moving. They had gotten, if the facts are taken to be true, if the testimony is taken to be true, they had got into the car and were pulling away, and her own injuries are sustained from her own negligence. Your Honor, I mean, it's just no evidence. They weren't driving towards her. They weren't trying to hit anything to cause injury to her. There's just no evidence of intent to commit aggravated assault here, Your Honor. So for that, I ask that you dismiss that charge.
Okay, Ms. Freeman.
Thank you, Judge. We're asking that you bind the charges over to Superior Court. We believe that the testimony provided by Officer Milligan provides sufficient evidence to show that Mr. Barlow's his actions in the aggravated assault and the theft by taking. Mr. Barlow was seen on video surveillance jumping into the car while Ms. Tucker was coming back to the car. Whatever she decided to hold on to as the driver of the car, he certainly could have stopped. He didn't have to drag her, and it was her own car. We believe that does show his intent when he drug her around. You heard the testimony regarding the suspended license in the open container. So we are asking that all the charges are bound over.
Okay, I understand Ms. Hill's argument, and I believe it may be compelling. The thing that I would say, though, Ms. Hill, well, I'm going to bind these charges over to Superior Court as it relates to the aggravated assault. I think it's reasonably foreseeable that if you're allegedly taking someone's car, that person may take efforts to try to stop that from happening. I don't believe it's negligence on the behalf of a owner of property to try to stop someone from taking the property. As it relates to the aggravated assault, I think it's a very, very close call, and it may not survive the burden of beyond a reasonable doubt. But at this stage, I'm going to find that evidence is sufficient to bind it over. So both charges are going to be, or all four charges are going to be bound over to the Superior Court of Clayton County.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Mr. Barlow can go back. What's the next case that we have?
We're working on trying to get Lieutenant Baker.
And as for Mr. Hill?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Are there any, and I'm sorry that I'm asking this, but we have such a big calendar.
We have Erica Hall as well as Dion Simmons.
Okay.
And Judge, we were also, I know Ms. Mary was going